Tour Striker Nation, Martin Chuck here, and I want to talk to you about a product that my daughter helped develop called the s.a.m.i. Why is it called the s.a.m.i? Well, that's her name. Well, it's Samantha. We call her s.a.m.i for short. And so since she inspired the invention, we call it s.a.m.i, and it stands for Structural Awareness Motion Instrument. Anyway, there's a lot of cool things you can do with this, and I want to highlight a few right now in this session because it's a simple training aid, but if used correctly, it can provide a bunch of external feels to help you improve your golf game. And it comes in a 2-pack right here. I have a packaged one right here, and they're black. They're unobtrusive. They're not glaring. Well, I made a couple glaring ones here so that you can see this more clearly on video. So I'm going to put down the s.a.m.i package right here, and I'm going to use a couple of the ones that we've made to be a little bit more easily seen on video. So it comes with a thumb strap and a couple gator clips, and you can see in the string here. Well, my favorite way to get started with your s.a.m.i is just to clip it to your lead shoulder, in my case my left shoulder, and then go ahead and loop your lead thumb, my left thumb through here. Now you can hear in the microphone the badge reel making a lot of sound as I bend my arm and extend my arm. Well, we're going to hit some shots, and I want you to learn how to have that awareness of transporting a long lead arm. Now, how are you going to do that? Well, in order to move a long lead arm in golf, you have to get your body to work. So if you can do that without that sense and sound of the string retracting, here's what it might look like if you do it poorly. And in my ear, I can hear that retraction, and naturally you can see that stalled body motion and chicken wing behavior. Or you can train yourself to do this a little bit more effectively with a couple of swings, and to keep the badge reel quiet and the string at maximum extension. Can you send the club head past the bottom and let your body pivot with the speed of the club head, keeping the string at a comfortable length? And also at address, Tour Striker Nation, when you set up to a golf ball, go ahead and don't rest your club. Find an appropriate measure to the ground right here that would include the ball, and collect it on the way to this journey and hitting a nice mid-range pitch shot. I know you see some tour players that'll have these soft arms post-impact, but until you're a tour player, my preference is that you learn how to transport structured arms. So the simplest way to get started, take the s.a.m.i, go ahead and take the gator clip, put it on your left shoulder, put it on your lead thumb, and get started from there. That's a great way to get started. A great second drill, grab some fabric on your trail shoulder, get the badge reel on there, secured, and then go ahead and put it on your trail thumb. Now you can hear in the microphone that string going in and out of the badge reel. Now what that's doing here is it's helping you have awareness of your width in your swing. Now there's going to be some retraction of that string. It's going to go into the reel, but the goal is to keep that string nice and wide. Because if you can keep a wide trail arm, in my case my right arm, and I have some width here, that'll keep my lead arm, my left arm, from overbending. So we don't want to put the string away completely. We want to feel during our backswing when you hit shots, and you can do this with your driver, 7-iron, really doesn't matter. I just have a gap wedge right here. But put a ball in place, get ready to go. And when you make these swings, we want to feel like the string stays away from us quite a while. So it's a simple little exercise of width in your swing. Get organized to a golf ball. Let's hit a shot being mindful. Eyes rest on the golf ball, but our mind is in the exercise we're doing here, which is keeping width in our trail arm, which will keep our left arm nice, our lead arm nice and structured. And so that's one thing that can help your reliability by keeping this from overbending, because if it overbends and you unwind, there's a good chance you're going to get steep in transition, and then from there a bunch of things have to happen for you to hit a successful shot. So taking out some overbending of the trail arm keeps your lead arm structured, and in doing so it's going to help you transition more reliably to collect the golf ball and hit some good shots. Let's move on to another drill. The original reason I made the s.a.m.i was because of my mentor, George Knudsen. He used to have us take a shoestring, loop it through our belt, hold it in our lead hand, and simply rotate to a finish, making this short little motion here. Why is that? Again, he's linking the speed of the club head with your pivot. So we didn't, with a shoestring, any backswing would pull the string out. Well, he didn't want us to do that, so we just had a narrow stance and we made this motion. Well, that's the motion you're going to see in effective pitch shots and chip shots around the green, where somebody is sending the club and pacing the finish, hitting these short little shots. That's a rotation, a relocation. The body's standing up appropriately during the shot, I know, yes, standing up appropriately. Well, if you put your SAMI on your lead hip bone, in my case, my left hip bone, and link the loop through your pinky finger, now what you can do is you'll have that awareness of, if you'll notice, as I make my through swing here, I'm not trying to stretch the string out of the reel. In fact, as I'm letting the club head pass the bottom, the club head's passing the handle synchronized with my pivot. So again, a great little awareness tool for hitting these little short shots, letting the club head pass me by, syncing up my pivot in order to have these nice little pitch and chip shots. Not necessarily chip, but more short pitches to starting long range pitches. So that's the original reason we started with the SAMI, was just because I did this as a kid, and my daughter happened to do something similar, and it inspired this invention. So these little short shots, that little behavior right there, syncing up that relationship of handle and hip bone with your pivot. Here's a great visual for you to understand in the golf swing. You can take your SAMI and you can loop it upon itself. Now with it below the grip there, go ahead and get some material on your shirt sleeve or sweater, and I just put it on my sweater about where my shirt sleeve would end, right about mid bicep right there. And now what you see here is what we call the completion of what we call as the left arm flying wedge. So right there, if I set up in bad posture, I would have no flying wedge. But I have some wedge if I bend over and I hip hinge to the ball. I have what we joke with the juniors, we call this is a slice of pizza. Well, during the swing, we don't want to completely lose that pizza. We don't want to get steep and have to thumb down so hard that the pizza goes away. We want to learn how to make these swings. You can see in the face-on camera, there's the wedge, and the down-the-line camera, it kind of disappears. How can we learn how to transport that wedge? So there's a great visual of pass-through of the lead arm, left arm flying wedge. And as you hit some shots, this will help you with some of the posture and awareness on how to transport the club through impact without, what happens is people get steep and they have to thumb down and fit things in to hit the golf ball. So if you can start off nice and slowly, understanding how to get that wedge to rotate through a golf ball all the way up into a finish. Let's hit a little shot here. And that paints a nice picture on how that combination of the SAMI completing this little triangle, this wedge, and how that wedge kind of flies through impact with contribution from rotation of your body all the way to a finish. So that's a nice little visual, and you can use that on chip shots, pitch shots, a variety of ways. Here's a great drill you can do with your SAMI. Take your SAMI, put the gator clip, a couple inches above your belt. Get it nice and secured on some cloth right there. Make sure it stays on, just make sure the gator clip's on there. And then link your pinky finger through there. And the reason why this is an important drill, and the SAMI is going to help you with your awareness on this. We have a lot of folks that come to the golf school, and their first move is to take their trail arm and retract it against their body, pulling back this way. And what happens is when you retract your trail arm, your lead arm gets pinned against your chest and your backswing, and you don't create enough opportunity to have distance by getting your club head and arms high enough. I'm not saying straight up over your head, I'm just saying you need the opportunity to develop some swing length so that you can hit the golf ball your farthest. So what I want you to do is be aware of that, and here's a backswing, and here's a backswing with no turn. There's my arm behavior up in front of me. There's some nice wrist conditions where my wrist is flat, my trail wrist is bent. Now if I turn this from the down the line camera, you can see how my trail arm is in front of the SAMI string. I didn't come back here and retract it behind it. So once you can do a couple of backswings with no turn, put the turn in to feel that condition. So there's a nice place to strike a golf ball from, rather than something that retracts and gets us pinned back behind us. Now for some of you that don't quite have the strength and mobility, this is a great exercise. So get organized over a golf ball, make a no-turn backswing, feel how that trail arm gets up in front of you. And a lot of people say, Martin, aren't you supposed to tuck your elbow in? And I'd say, no, you're not. You need some room away from yourself. And what actually happens with the elbow is the body gets close to the elbow doesn't get close to the body. The body's unwinding, the arms come down. It's not something where I'm physically trying to tuck my arm in. So, Tour Striker Nation, let's get a no-turn backswing, turn and feel how the arms really stay sort of in front of us a little bit more. There is a bit of retraction, but not much. And then from there, as we unwind, we can go ahead and compress the golf ball. So feel how the elbow stays more in front. Your SAMI will help you with that. We don't want to feel our elbow clicking the string. Let's go ahead and hit a little shot and see how we do. And that little feeling is going to really help many of you not get the club sucked inside. One of the big things we see that goes wrong with golfers that come to the golf school. So Tour Striker Nation, here's another great one you can do with your SAMI looped onto the shaft and affixed at the bottom of your shirt sleeve or on my sweater like I have it here, about mid-bicep. When you're in the play condition, a lot of times we see a lot of flipping going on, a lot of behavior where people don't quite understand this motion, and there's too much hand action where the club head is thrown past the hands. Well, as we hit some shots from this address position, you'll notice how my left wrist is bent back a little bit, but as I strike a shot, I'm pivoting with the speed of the club head, and my thumbs actually uncock a little bit, so some of that flying wedge goes away. So rather than just kind of flipping at it, you can have the sensation that you're making this motion and unhinging a little bit. So, and you can really see how that SAMI string goes down my hands and it's touching my thumb, and you can see the alignment here. It's behind my lead arm and it's not a flip. So really easy to work in a short practice routine, having that sensation. If I hit a shot correctly, I'll show you correctly and incorrectly as I hit one. So there's a strong little punch shot, pitch shot. Now if it was a wedge this is a 7-iron, if it was a wedge, the ball would fly higher with a lot of spin, And in this situation, you can see I'm rotated and I've struck the shot and I'm sustaining a nice strong loft. What a lot of people will do in this situation is they will create too much of a scoop. The body will stall and they'll throw the hands at it rather than pacing and facing with the body to hit a strong one. So you can hit a lot of really good shots around the green, kind of understanding this hand behavior and also how the body pivots with the speed of the club head that you send. So why not have certainty and see how this works with your body and develop more skill and reliability with the strike. Tour Striker Nation, one of the simplest things you can do with your SAMI is just affix it by where your buttons or zipper are in your sweater. And then you can see you've got a good relationship for radius. When I put this on my lead thumb, loop it on my lead thumb, and you make swings, there's a simple way for you to feel like you can keep the string away from you at all points in the swing. Really easy drill for most of you that's going to benefit right away. Go ahead and get your good hands on there. Get the club in your hands, get the club off the ground. Find your radius to the golf ball. And then from there, seek to hit some shots feeling like you can sustain that radius. And naturally, there's going to be some give and take within the reel, and the string's going to get shorter and longer. But I want you to feel like you can sustain that during your swing rather than having too much of extreme change on either side of impact. When you can do that, your strikes are going to get more reliable. Tour Striker Nation, a simple one you can do with your SAMI is loop your belt around the SAMI string and go ahead and put it up here on the pocket of your shirt. And you can see here that by going from flexing of my body to extending my body, I'm pulling the string out of the bad drill. Well, at an address position, I'm bent over to the ball. The string is as short, it's absolutely as short as it's going to get. And as I go into a finish, I'm not finishing by keeping the string short. I'm finishing by letting my heart go to the sky, my chest get bigger. So the sensation of standing up and extending my body. So the sense is the string is short at address, structured but short, and as I hit some shots, I can feel like I can stretch out the string a fraction on the backswing, and then an extreme amount on the through swing. So a very good feeling and awareness to have with your SAMI as you go from an address position, collect the ball, and extend yourself into a finish and look like what you see most of the tour players looking like. Buns underneath them, weight in the lead heel, up on their trail toe, and then heart and chest expanded to the sky. Tour Striker Nation, I hope you've enjoyed those video tips on how to get maximum benefit with your SAMI. The package comes with 2 of them, and you can also go to my YouTube channel and look at other drills we do with the SAMI. We just wanted to show you some that would have amazing, really quick impact to improve your game. The Tour Striker SAMI, a functional little training aid that's going to make a big difference in your game. And you know, you can use it on the putting green, around the greens, chipping and pitching, and naturally full shots driver to whatever shot you want to hit. So Martin Chuck signing off.